What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. Today we got a reaction to Chris Eckman and his album, The Land We Knew Best, brought to you by friend, longtime supporter, and patron of the channel, Slade Said. Thank you, Slade Said. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out that Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. We could not do it without the patrons. All right. Slade said, for this list, I decided to go with the new album. So when I'm filming this right now in January 2025, this album just came out. I decided to go with the new album by former The Walkabouts band leader Chris Eckman. It's a very somber album packed with beautiful dark ballads. It was recorded in Slovenia with local musicians where Chris Eckman has been living for a good number of years. It's his first solo album since 2021's Where the Spirits Rest, which was my album of the year, Slade said. And Slade said knows a ton about music. And while this year is very young and I've only listened to it a limited number of times, it's already an early contender for that again for 2025. I also noticed it received a 9 out of 10 album rating from the great English music magazine Uncut and an Album of the Month award as well. So with the expectations set high, let's get into the songs. We do have a Walkabouts Top 10 that Slade said did like 3.5 years ago that's on this channel. Just type it in that bar above when this is over. And I've got a few quotes from Chris Eckman on this. He said, I don't really write in fits and starts. He explains, I tend to have concentrated periods of writing. I'm glad this didn't take 8 years to get going like the last one. I found something of a different voice during Where the Spirit Rests, and it was still there when I picked up the guitar again. Now, he does live in Slovenia, which he has for many years, as Slade said, talked about, and it's seeped into his consciousness, he says, not just the city, but also the mountains and thickly forested nature that surrounds it. He said, I wanted that specific sense of place in these songs. I find a lot of solace and inspiration in the nature here. I walk a lot in the mountains, and by now I have a strong connection to my adopted home. Place creates certain atmospheres, and exploring that has always been important to my music. All right, before we get into it, the music won't be in the video, but it will be at a Vimeo link below. So click on that and follow along with us. Let's jump into it. With the first song, Genevieve, Slade said, I don't have any other research because there's no other research on this album out there. Slade said the album kicks off with the beautiful ballad Genevieve, which was the second single off the album. Features Jane Beltrain on backup vocals, amongst others. All right, all the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Slade said. All right, Genevieve, what a fantastic song. Arranged perfectly. Jane really works on there. She's playing the piano. Chris is playing the acoustic. You got Catherine Greendorge on violin and viola. Just a beautiful arrangement. Chris's voice is fantastic. Dude's 64 years old. And then the lyricism is off the charts. Genevieve has left him. He didn't have his stuff together, you can tell from the lyrics, but he's waiting for her to come back, but he doesn't know where she is, and he's remembering all these things that they did together and going back over them with her. He even says, I got on your favorite shirt, but he didn't know where she was. She called him from Dublin. He had no idea. So I don't think it's going to work out for Chris, but just a beautiful song. Great way to start this album out. And next up, we have Town Lights Fade. Slade said song number 2 continues the somber mode of the first track with slightly more happening and is another gem of a song. It was the first single of the album. All right, another beautiful song. Jane is on vocals here, but not quite in the same way she was on the opening track, Genevieve. We got some drumming. We got Alistair McNeil on the electric guitar, but it's very subtle. And Chris is playing the electric rhythm guitar, but it's still very, very, very subtle instrumentation. But the song is beautiful. I don't know if he's leaving the town, realizing to come back to town. And it's kind of, I think, a metaphor for your life and the way you go through seasons as well. But some great lyricism on that one as well. He is 2 for 2 so far. Now we go to the third track, Running Hot. Slade said makes 3 of 3 on the ballad front and is a more, quote, true ballad than the previous song. Another really good song. The instrumentation obviously not going to be overwhelming on these first 3 songs, but it's just right? The arrangement is just right. And you have a variety of instruments that just come in subtly. On this one, you've got Alistair McNeil playing the acoustic, and you got Chris playing the acoustic as well. You got an electric cello, and you got a viola. So you've got a lot of different things going on here, but another really good song. I mean, I think they fall in the order that I like them, the first 3 songs, but I like them all. They're really good. There's only 8 songs on this album because the songs are a little longer. I mean, it's kind of like the perfect album, 8 songs, like 45 minutes. It's kind of like right there in the perfect wheelhouse. So we have Buttercup. Slade said it is the first up-tempo song on the album. He says by, quote, up-tempo. I don't exactly mean a rock song at lightning speed, but it does move faster than the first 3 songs. So that'll be a good change up. All right, Buttercup. Alistair McNeil is out here on the ham, and Chris is playing the synth and the feedback guitar that comes in with like 1:07 left in there. So it gives it some, and Jane's on here too, but it gives it some texture to it. So I did enjoy the difference in there. Really good song. His voice to me is just fantastic. It just draws you in. It's like a cross between like Matt Berenger from The National or Mark Kozelek from various projects. Sun Kill Moon, Red House Painters, and other things. He's had some issues, but kind of a cross between that. His voice just brings you in. I just enjoy it so much. Let's go to the second half of the album. We got Laments. Slade said it picks up where the second song, Town Light, fades in terms of sound and pace, but increases the noise level somewhat. Laments. Good drumming on here. I'm going to screw these names up because they're Slovenian. I don't know how to enunciate where the accent points are, so just forgive me. Blaz Celarek on drumming. I mean, he's been on some of these songs, but you really feel it on this one. The other ones, it's very dialed back. And Alistair McNeil on the electric was fantastic there. And Bostian Simon on the baritone sax. So it was much more rich and like loud, not loud, like crazy loud, but I mean louder than anything else on here. What's interesting though, Chris's vocal performance is almost the same on these songs in a very good way, but like his tempo and delivery is almost the same. He sped it up just a tad bit on this, but almost the same. It's just the arrangement that changes the texture of the song. It's interesting because you don't see that often. Usually the vocal performance sped up, slowed down, louder, quieter. He's just kind of the same, and then manipulate the arrangement instead, which is a mark of a master musician. All right, we got 3 songs left. We got Haunted Nights. On this one, Slade said we dialed the noise back. Jane Beltran joins in on the vocals again, which will be the last time on this album that she joins in. All right, Haunted Nights. A very haunting song, no pun intended. I mean, we got the pedal steel on there. We got the nylon acoustic guitar, giving it that kind of tone to it. Jane's vocals on there are fantastic and a real addition on this song. But the songwriting's next level. I mean, whenever in your first verse you can get the word loquacious in there. I can barely say it as I pause. That was really good, and you just got to make it through those haunted nights. A lot of us have been there before, right? Those thoughts, man, and that hurt. Next up, we have The Cranes. It's again a song, Slade said, that mostly reminds me of Town Lights Fades in terms of pace and sound. All right, the Cranes are flying low. The Cranes are flying home. Beautiful soundscape built into that one. We just got some harp drones on there, so that was and some water bowls. I mean, we're breaking every freaking thing. The contrabass is on everything. I meant to mention that at the start, but that's part of what gives it the tone. But all right, we got 1 song left. We got Last Train Home, which would have been a great album title as well. Slade said the final song of the album is a fitting closer. Unsurprisingly, it's another ballad that definitely sounds like a late night song. Love the mood on this song. All right, Last Train Home. Perfect album closer by the material of it, by the title of it. Great piano on there. Harp. You got Anna Kravanya bringing those vocals, especially at the end, where she runs that off to give it some different texture to finish the album off. But really, really well done. I mean, like the whole album, which is going to bring me to my favorite tracks. So I liked every song on here. I mean, we'll go honorable mention, Running Hot in the faves, Genevieve, Town Lights, Fade, and Haunted Nights. But I mean, you can talk me into some others as well. I'm not hard and fast on this on first listen. It's a fantastic album, which can bring me to my overall score. This album, I mean, I talked about it earlier on, so I won't go into it much now, but the arrangement of it is just perfect. The instrumentation of it is fantastic, right? It's not overwhelming. It's not meant to be. You're not going to have solos. You're not going to have any of that stuff, right? Because it's about Chris's voice and it's about the lyrics, which the songwriting is next level. And his vocal performance, as I said, at 64, is just tremendous. I love his voice. It draws me in. So with all that said, I'm going to be at an 8.75, which is sky high on first listen of an album. I will go back and put this on my list to listen to again, just on my own time. You got to be in the right mood for it, of course, but it's fantastic. So thank you to Slade Said for bringing this great, great album. Let me know what you think of this down below. Like I said, go check out that Walkabouts Top 10. Just type it in above, and you can check out what Chris was doing over there. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you.